What's going on, YouTube? Back again, another GEKISHIN SQUADRA video. This time, we're going to be doing our little tier lists. And always remember, tier lists are based on opinion, except for the fact that this guy right here is just going to go right into the top tier because there's no better character in this game better than Cooler. Best tank, best character overall. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. All right, so continuing on the list, we got Goku first. High key, put him in good. He does everything you want as a DPS. There's not really anything he doesn't do bad. Plus, with the Calcan on top of his multiplier, character's actually kind of crazy. He does a lot of damage. You know what I'm saying? You level up your one. If you get super start, level up the meteor. What is it? Meteor smash or meteor hammer? I can't remember what it's called. The little small boost of movement. And then obviously the Calcan, you can do that last because the boost you get from multiplying or the multiplier is enough at level 1 anyway. Spirit Bomb, you can barely escape it because it covers the whole goddamn screen. So pretty much the only way you can save yourself is with, I believe, Android 17. I think Cell can protect you from it as well. So yeah, he's gonna put him in the good tier. Not top tier, but you know, just good. Piccolo. In my opinion, I strongly believe he's a throw pick. Based off the games I've been in, anytime I've had a Piccolo or the enemy team has had a Piccolo, that team loses. The only time I really see Piccolo get value is when he's charging Spirit Beam. Wow. He's charging a Special Beam Cannon and blasts you away. Other than that, I have not seen a game where Piccolo really pops off or does anything worth of note. So to my opinion, I believe he's a throw pick. Not bottom tier. Unless the rest of the team's doing fine, then whatever. But just going off of what he doesn't want to do much of anything. Frieza. Thinking about Zarbon and Dodoria. Zarbon does quite a bit of damage, and Dodoria is kind of annoying. Frieza has really good tower pushing potential. Damage-wise, I mean, he's all right. But I do think he's a bottom tier pick. I just don't see why you would choose him over someone like a Majin Buu or Android 17 and Hit. So when you compare him to those characters, yeah, he's gonna be a bottom tier character, unfortunately. Maybe in the future they might change him, but for right now, the Zarbon Doria, you kind of just whenever they summon out, you kind of just kill him pretty fast. It is what it is, right? All right, we got Baby. There's another character where everyone's like, "Oh, Baby's really good. Baby's really good." I haven't seen it outside of a couple games where I'm playing tank and I'm winning against him. When I played DPS this one time, you know, he actually, yeah, he's a pretty decent tank. I'm kind of stuck between good and mid tier because I think Zamasu is a little bit better than him, and I think Cell is kind of a little bit better, maybe even with Baby and Zamasu. So for right now, we're gonna put him in mid tier, and then when we get done, we might move him around here to good, depending on about the opinions I have. Going on to actually no, let's just do it like this. We'll do the tanks first, and then we can move on to let's do like the DPS. And then we'll do the technical, and then technicals at the very end. Why is Majin Buu stuck? All right, there we go. All right, so Zamasu. He's not immortal, but he does get that little boost from his passive, right? So he doesn't die right away. He has a little bit of a, how do you say, like a second life, I guess you can call it. So I definitely believe he has potential to be up in the higher tiers, but for right now we're gonna put him in good. I think the thing is with the tanks, all they have to do is bring the tanks up, and they'll be even with Cooler. I think Cooler just does way too much at the moment to not warrant him in his own tier by himself. I don't think there's any other character up here that I've played. I did hear word that Caulifla is a pretty good tank. I haven't played her yet, but you know, that's something that I have to play for myself and form my own opinion. Yes, people are saying that she's up here too, but I'll figure that out later. So I'll put his mouse right here. His ultimate's pretty good. It sucks them in, and I believe it slows as well. His one does a pretty good slow. I believe he has a burn effect on there. All right, Zamasu, here we go. Body regeneration. He attacks NPCs and bosses with skills to charge his generation gauge. The generation gauge will deplete as it heals your base health. If it gauges a certain amount when you're knocked out, you will revive. That's a very strong thing to do if you can revive and come back and stay in the fight for your teammates. Ability 1, we got Heavily Arrow. Fire energy blast in succession. Enemy heroes hit will be affected with movement speed down. Obviously, in a game like this where movement is everything, slowing your enemies is a big bonus. So that's why I feel like him being inside the good tier is warranted. His next skill is Divine Rush. Lunge forward with a piercing attack and enemies hit or push backwards. Is what it is. I'm saying you can peel with that if your teammates are in a pretty big disadvantage state. And then we got a Fierce God Slicer. Sweep the area around you with the horizontal slash, and then it does continuous damage if they're hit. And obviously, the more damage you have, the faster you kill people. I don't know more I can say. You'll love a good dot. And then Project Zero Immortals, like I said, you get immunity to all. You also get a movement speed down, and it sucks them in. No, it doesn't actually suck them in. I thought it did. I am incorrect. All it does is just slow them. But still, I think it's still a decent ability. So we're going to put him in good right next to Goku. A little bit above Baby. Like I said, in my opinion, I don't see the worth in Baby at the moment. We have Cooler and Cooler, Zamasu, and Caulifla, and even Cell. All right, so moving on. We have Cell. And I'm putting him in good tier. I think, you know, we're going to put him above Zamasu. I know everyone doesn't really like Cell at the moment, but I definitely think he has some potential in the right hands, just like any other character. But I think he has a better application for his skills, as long as you're getting bioenergy early. If you can transform very early, then you're being a very good state, because then you can take advantage of the energy field with the Cell game's secondary passive, right? Because then you get the whole 1v1 lockdown. If there's a teammate with you, you actually 2v1. So pretty much anyone in there should technically die. So there's never really a time where they should be escaping unless they have some kind of help from their outside teammates. And the energy barrier blocks projectiles. Anything coming from the outside. So say, for example, there's a Goku on the enemy team. If they're about to drop a spirit bomb, you throw out your energy field. Boom, everyone's saved. You guys continue the fight. And it's over. Regeneration is probably the worst ability he has, just because of how much damage there is in the game. Early game, it's fine. But late game, there's really no point in really using this ability. Besides the debuff, right? That's the one thing I can think of that makes this even worth running or worth using pretty much towards the end of the game. Big Bang Crash, it explodes and applies movement speed down. Once again, in a game where movement is everything, slowing your opponent, I mean, you can't really say that's a bad thing to do. And then we have Raid Smash. So what I like to do whenever I play Cell, because obviously if people are going to be running away from you, you can get the stun if you're holding them from behind. So what I like to do, you throw this in front of them, keep them trapped in there, and then obviously use your Raid Smash, ground from behind. That way you get double the damage, and your teammates can finish them off if needed be. So in my opinion, I think Cell's in a better place than Zamasu is, but just not as good as obviously Cooler, because no one's going to be up here with him. All right, we got Caulifla next. Let's go to her page. Where are you? There you are. Super Saiyan 2 Caulifla. Enemies you have provoked will do less damage to you. We have Storm Kick, which is an attack with a triple roundhouse kick, applies provoke to enemies you hit. If the attack hits at close range, the duration of provoked is extended. And you can move and change the direction while using the skill. Blaze Dive, fire an explosive energy blast, performs a follow-up attack to enemy heroes on hit. Provoked enemies will take additional damage. Okay, that's kind of nice. Energy release, release a field of energy around you. Blocks enemy energy attacks and prevents them from approaching, and applies movement speed up to self after activation. So I feel like in the future that might, if they end up changing her eventually, I feel like one day they might add like to self and allies maybe to energy release. But usually they kind of change these kind of things over time in MOBAs. Crush Cannon releases a large energy wave and applying provoked and enemies it hits. Can move and change direction while using the skill. So that's kind of crazy, because that looks like you can move better with this ability than you can other ones in the game. Okay, so I can kind of see why she would be up there with Cooler. But this is one of the characters where I'm definitely going to play her more, so I can get a feel for her myself. So for right now, we're just going to put her in good. I'll put her above Cell just based off the community response to her character. Super Saiyan Vegeta. Originally, I would put him in good, but I don't think he's better than any of these 3 tanks right here. I don't know if he's better than Baby based off of what I've played with and played against. His one ability is really good for chasing and for locking someone down. Let's go to where Vegeta's at. So his 2, the photon bomb, it's good. But then you look at the other abilities and it's like, what do you really do that's better than Caulifla, Cell, and Zamasu, and maybe even Baby? So you recover your armor, you can push enemies away, but it's for a short. I mean, it doesn't last that long. You have this suction, whatever you want to call it, and then energy volley, blast volley. You recover armor when you hit enemies with it, but I don't see anything that brings him above these options. So we're gonna put him below Baby on this tier list. Super Uub. Now, at first, I was not a believer in this character until I used him, and I started learning how to use him properly. And all he is Goku, but harder to play. So I would put him above Goku, but since his application is a little bit more difficult to learn, I feel like I have to put him below Goku. As I say, if you give Goku a newer player, they'll do fine. If you give Uub to a newer player, I don't think they're going to do as good as someone that's put maybe like even 2 or 3 games into him. So I think he's a better character than Goku and a better option, but we're going to put him behind Goku simply because he's what do they call it? It's skill ceiling or skill floor, whatever, blah, blah. He's harder to play than Goku. There we go. Dama Goku, I put him in decent. I don't really have any bad opinions or good opinions on him. I think he's kind of just in the middle. I think this is probably like the main point of balance. Bojack, I don't care. Bottom tier. Better than Piccolo, though. But as a DPS, I mean, your ult sucks. You kind of don't really do anything when you're in games. You're kind of just there. So I feel like in the next patch, I feel like they're going to give him a little bit of a buff or at least some kind of change. I just don't see him doing anything, really. I mean, the ult's easy to escape. He can't move, so you kind of just walk towards him and you go behind him and you escape. So, I don't know. Bojack, I don't see any point in putting him higher than this. I don't think he's he's a throw pick. I'll take it back. Him and Piccolo, I think, are probably the worst characters in the whole entire game. Maybe Son Gohan goes there too, but we'll get to him later. Dabura, I think it kind of depends. I feel like he's decent, but I also feel like he could go into the mid tier. Let's think about this for a second. If we compare him to the Gammas, Kale, and I'll probably put him in decent tier. I'm kind of different. Like, he's another one where it's kind of like, you know, he's good, but he's not too good, and he's not bad in any sense. So, to me, he's kind of just there. It kind of comes down to your petrification gauge. And if you can get your petrify off. If you can't get it off, then you're kind of useless. But if you do get the freeze, then whoever you freeze from it just dies right afterwards. Super Saiyan Kale. I wish there was a way to separate this because I do not think Kale is a good character by herself. Like the base form Kale. I think Super Saiyan Kale is definitely up here in the good tier. She's not broken, but after she transforms, she kind of just kills everything that's on the map. There's really a time where you're going to face Super Saiyan Kale and she doesn't wipe the whole team. But the only downside of Kale is that you have to be near an ally to get her passive. If you're not near an ally, the damage is pretty noticeable. So I feel like she thrives more with communication and other teams than if you run her solo. It's possible to run her solo, but you pretty much have to play more towards your teammates than just be like, hey, communicate. Hey, I'm about to go in. Come closer to me. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, Transform Kale, probably, I think she might be the highest DPS in the game. I don't know if there's a way we could look at that from here. It doesn't seem like it. No. Game 1, Game 2, same thing. I think they're good. I feel like they're like Uub. They do quite a bit of damage. Plus, when you transform into them, or transform, when you do your ultimate, you get Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 at the same time. and then you kind of just blow everything up that's in front of you with your 3 or your ultimate. What happened? Also, the fact that you have 2 different health bars, so whenever your one gets knocked out, you switch into the other one. I mean, by that time, pretty much whoever you're fighting, you're going to kill them anyway after the switch happens. You pop your 3 if it's maxed out, and you kind of just delete everything in there. Special pose, like I said, you combine game 1 and game 2, your health bars, and then you kind of just melt everything from there. And you got the core breaker too, which is a pretty big ability. And if people don't realize it's going off, you can pretty much wipe the whole team. I have a clip on the channel where I actually got a 3-man, or I killed one, and then I got a 3-man core breaker ult, and then pretty much took the victory from there. Super Saiyan T Trunks is like Super Uub to me, where you have to know how to play him to really get the full benefit from him. If you don't know, Trunks is the highest burst damage in the whole entire game. He's completely maxed out. I played him for my first time ever today, and his ultimate, not burning attack, the Shining Slash, you can pretty much delete anybody. I went up against the cooler. I think I took him down to 3, or I took him down to a quarter health just from using my ultimate once and getting both of these attacks off on him. It's kind of crazy, and plus, like, so here's another one too. Like the overcharge, the skills on cooldown can be reactivated immediately upon defeating or assisting an ally in defeating an enemy, god destruction, or a boss. So if you get this right, you can pop your 1 twice, which unleash powerful sword thrust. Damage is further increased against enemies whose HP is below a certain percent. So once you just burst. That's all I can say. You just literally just burst. So yeah, but like I say, he's one of the characters where if you don't know how to play him, like you can't just give him to a new player, and the new player is gonna pop off like they would with a Goku. So I do think he goes into the good tier. Whether he's better than the Gammas and Uub is to be discovered. So I'll probably put him in the middle for me. Android 18, what do you do? Played her, I think, 1 game today. Assault Rush, an assault target will be applied to an enemy hero for a set time after attacking them 4 times in a row, increasing your damage against them. So, that little bar on the bottom, if you're not keeping track of it, you're pretty much not using 18 to our full potential. Destructo Disc, when it's maxed out, though, you can get 3 Destructo Discs. So all you really got to do is hit him with 1 rush attack, pop your 1 3 times. They should die from there. If they don't, you always use Heartbreaker, punch them and kill them on impact. And it does additional damage to enemies with an assault target. So you don't even need to stack it up 4 times. You can just hit this once, maybe throw 2 Destructo Discs, and then finish them off with a Heartbreaker if you need it, if you can't catch them with a Lightning Step. Also applies no skills to an enemy on hit. So the more stacks of Assault Rush applied to the target, the greater the damage. Excel Dance, perform a lunging attack, and if an attack hits an enemy, it can be used immediately right afterwards. And the number of times it can be reused depends on the level of the skill. Excuse me. So I'm actually not too sure how many times. It might be like a trait, or it might be like a... what's that one character? There's a character in another game where, like, if you hit them with your dash, Black Panther. I don't know how I forgot that. It's like maybe probably like Black Panther from Marvel Rivals, I'm assuming. So I don't know if she's in good, so I'll probably say she's a little bit of the mid tier. I think she's not bad. I don't think she's overly broken. So I'll put her mid for right now. Maybe it might change later on the more game time I have with her. So we shall see. Once again, tier lists, all opinionated. There's no definitive, except for Cooler, that this character is the best, except for Cooler, or this character is the worst, except for Piccolo, Bojack, and maybe Son Gohan. We'll find out later. But once again, definitive number 1. That's all I'm going to say. Krillin, mid tier. Not bad, not good. Kind of just does whatever he wants. Speedy, he blinds. I mean, you can't really do much better than a blind. Majin Buu, I think he's decent. I don't think he's on the bottom. Actually, no. I can't put him next to Dabura and Goku. I think he's bottom tier. Android 17, I think he's also a sleeper pick. I don't think he's overly broken. I don't think he's just mid, so I'll probably put him like if we could, I'll put him like in between mid tier and good tier. I'm not gonna make another section, so I'll probably put him right here. He does pretty good. Hit, not bad, not good, better than Krillin. Not as good as 17 when it comes to team fights. He also has a blind though, but I think Android 17 does better. Plus, like I said, if you're going up against a Goku, you can throw Android 17's barrier out and protect him. You can't really protect your teammates with your hit, but you can definitely have good damage potential. Put you in mid tier. Son Gohan. Son Gohan, I can admit I have not played at all, so I can't really say what he does good and what he does bad. So I'll probably just leave him down here until I get more games with him, because I don't want to overly judge him like by putting him in decent or bottom. So we're just gonna leave him right where he's at, right down here, right down. Okay, you can't put him back. Anyway, act like he's not there. But this is my opinion on the current state of Gekishin Impact, Gekishin Squadra. I keep saying that. I don't know how long I'm gonna do that for. This state of Dragon Ball Z Gekishin Squadra, to me, like I said, definitive number one. It's cooler. No one's gonna be better than cooler. If you want to grind fast, just play this character. For the DPS, I say play Goku, Uub, maybe learn to play Trunks. For technicals, Android 17 is going to be your best one to climb with. After that, I'll probably go with Hit. Son Gohan, like I said, since I haven't played him, I don't really feel like I can put him anywhere here. Unfortunately, I let go of the button, so he's just going to be sitting here and throw pick. I don't think he's a throw pick, because like I said, I have not played with him. I haven't played against many of them. So I'm kind of indifferent when it comes to Son Gohan. So it is what it is. Let me know if you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you guys think about the tier list, or let me know what you disagree with the tier list. What are your opinions? Leave them in the comment section below. Have a good day. My name is Zephyr. Peace out.